This morning on a huge Sunday footy show, the blueprint for the future of the game unveiled. Mark Evans, the new football operation boss at the AFL's first exclusive interview. Lights, camera, action as the Cats turn on the Kardinia Park lights and shut down a gallant Suns in the final term. Suns coach Guy McKenna here live this morning. Mick Moldhouse wins another battle against old mate Kevin Sheedy, the GWS coach here to answer the tough questions about their plight. Michael Voss back in the gun as the Pies accounts for the Lions at the Gabba. Collingwood star Ben Reid is in the house. The Power in trouble while the Dogs bark. Goodsy produces a gallant game as the Dons sink. And Freo in a thriller over the Crows. All that coming your way and more on an enormous Sunday footy show.
Luck, Craig.
Good morning, welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. Huge day of football ahead. The future of Mark Neeld on the line today. It seems inevitable. It's his last day as a senior coach. More on that developing story through the course of the morning. Plenty on the palette to get through this morning. Damien Barrett, the #1 football news journalist in the country, is here. Nathan Brown, the star of Bulldog and Tiger fame. Matthew Lloyd, the Coleman medal hero. Shane Crawford, the Brownlow medalist. And the noise down the end.
What about those lights? Unbelievable day, amazing night. The Prime Minister was there, fireworks, it was unbelievable.
Have you been home yet, Bill?
Haven't been home yet, Hutch. There, look at it. Wow. You know it's big when you get fireworks. The crackers went off. Yeah. I don't even know who won the bloody game, but it was fantastic. The whole of Geelong were there. They were up and about, and it was, the Prime Minister was even there. That's how big it was.
Like Disneyland.
Was Gary Ablett seeing you there, Bill?
I didn't see him. No, didn't see him last night either. But it was fantastic. Oh, we loved
Just relax for a couple of minutes, Bill.
It was great,
24 hours for you. This is how the round has gone down to date. You know, in a thrilling round 10 of football. Collingwood on Friday night, some fallout on the Rat Pack there in a moment. Fremantle in a gallant win. The Blues did it easy against the Giants. Kevin Sheedy tells us about their plight soon. The Sydney Swans announced themselves again on the competition. Lordo's got some thoughts. The Bullies had a shock win against the Port Adelaide, 5-5 now Port, and the Cats were in trouble for a part of the night but got out with a barnstorming final term and some big games to go, including that Hawthorn-Melbourne game today with so many ramifications. Geelong, Hawthorn, Sydney, Fremantle, Essendon have demarked themselves from the rest. Carlton, Collingwood and the Eagles are right there trying to make up the numbers in the 8 in what is a thrilling top end of the ladder. Adelaide's hopes hurt, Tigers' hopes on the line tomorrow night. And then it falls away 11 through 18. You would think none of them can make the final 8. Let's get into it. And the Sydney Swans last night just reminded people they don't probably get the kudos, Lordo, that they deserve, but they were the real deal against the Bombers.
They don't. The big question mark on them, people would say, was they've lost to the two top teams in Geelong and Hawthorn. But I was there last night, Brownie, and they are building to, I think, another premiership tilt. More than that, I think they are the best team in it at the moment. You go through their midfield, they've got better midfield depth than any other team in the competition. They're hard, they're strong. They play a brand of football that is built for winning big matches.
You genuinely think they can go back-to-back, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I think they're only going to get better. I think that you're Kennedy, McVeigh, Jack, Hanbury, O'Keefe, Parker, Bolton, Jetta, the list goes on. They added Tom Mitchell to it yesterday, who we'll talk about soon. He looked like a 200-game player. And then Tippett is thrown in the mix in 2 or 3 weeks. I think they are the team to beat.
Along with that, you think John Longmire is coaching career best right now. Some of his moves last night were terrific.
Yeah, we'll highlight it in the Essendon Sydney game review, but I thought he coached beautifully yesterday. Some of his moves just blew James Hird and Essendon away, and I just am fascinated how still people will throw up 3 or 4 other teams.
You think he outcoached James Hird yesterday?
He coached brilliantly yesterday. I'll show some moves on the end, so I don't want to go too early, but just how he could free up a man around the stoppages.
Teasing his own thoughts later on the show.
Adam Goods had a big week.
Adam Goods, he had a huge week, and he couldn't get himself in the game. I thought the big week had taken its toll, but he had 3 disposals, and we've got 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. He ran the length of the ground just to do this.
Yeah.
The whole team charges over to Adam Goods to say, well done, great effort. And it was like he's just thought, I've got to lift myself here. I'm better than this. I've got to get myself in the game. It was just something small, but he kicked the goal a minute later, set up another one, and then ended up with 4 goals at the end. The shackles were off, and that's what champions do. They do something to get themselves into the game.
And he kicked 4 goals. He had a really big influence after that, and a very tough week, but well done to Adam Goods. He just keeps stepping up when people start to doubt him. That was a wonderful goal there, really, just to put them in front and give them a good lead. But what a star, Bill. You've got to love what he does.
Damo, was there a chance that he wasn't going to play?
Yeah, a very big chance, Bill. The AFL Chief Executive, Andrew Demetrio, felt that even on the Friday night before the game, that it was only a 50-50 bet that he would play. That's how serious the impact of the week with the Eddie Maguire thing had on him.
It must be said, he's in wonderful form over the last 3 weeks. Started the year a bit slowly, but playing magnificently.
He's magnificent. As was Tom Mitchell, the debutant for the Sydney Swans yesterday. Had 18 possessions in 2.5 quarters. I said it, I've been involved with the AIS program, and I said it before his debut. He is the cleanest around stoppages. Look at the way he weights the footy.
That's
the way he
Jack.
kicks the football. So probably the best stoppage player, best clearance player, cleanest by foot.
So
that
why
I've seen
haven't we
come
seen?
through the system.
Why haven't we seen him?
He's just had injuries, Bill. So it's the only reason he hasn't played.
Right.
They wanted to get him right. He had 52 and 56 disposals the previous 2 weeks in the VFL in Sydney.
So he's the best player in stoppages. What's his pace like on the outside?
No, he's more like a Simon Black style pace, so not lightning
Nothing
quick.
wrong with that,
But, no. But just, and I think yesterday he played like he'd played 200 games. Wasn't overawed at all.
He can influence their end result this year.
He will, yeah. He'll be there. I don't think he'll miss another game now unless he gets injured. He is there for the long haul.
So the premiership's over, Lordy. Swans.
What's that?
Swans. The premiership race is
they're
over.
the team to beat for mine, yeah.
Speaking of very good players, this man here, Gary Ablett, returned to the Cattery last night, his first game.
Did he like the lights
at Simmons
still?
Stadium? He loved them. Well, not early, just a little snippet for you there.
Took a while to get into it, Bill, last night.
He had 22 touches. After half time. Stevie J went to him at the start and went to him at all the clearances. It was pretty good work. Stevie tried to work him over. He gave a little high five there to the crowd. But have a look at this goal. To hook it around there, 45 metres out.
Round the float.
Did he mean it?
No. And somehow it just
Yes, he
drifted.
did.
It drifted through.
He
It
meant
was
it, Bill.
unbelievable.
I was there
don't
last
think he
night,
meant
and that goal, the whole place went quiet because Gold Coast kicked the goal,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden everybody just stood up as one and clapped. It was like a golf clap. It was just a great moment for Gary Ablett to come back.
It was, and speaking of coming back, what about this man, the alpaca himself, Nathan Vardy? Have a look at he's got that crew cut. He's a weird-looking unit, but man, he's come on. He started on the bench. Look at him.
Looked in the mirror.
Oh, he was up and
Hey,
about.
Bill, is he ready to just be a consistent player for the rest of this year? Is
He's
he?
got to keep fit and got to play games, but he can play forward, kicks goals. You throw him in the ruck, he
It was
jumps
only a month
around.
ago that everyone queried whether he'd ever play again.
He's got to kick
It's a-
6.
And it's always like that. He could get injured. It's a day-to-day type thing with him, how he pulls up today. But he was fantastic. He's been in the gym too. He's got big muscles.
Big and strong, very much like the Fremantle Dockers at the moment. Gee, they're going well. Ross Lyon has got them so well drilled. To go to Adelaide, who are playing very well, threw everything
Poor
at them.
Josh.
It was a
skip ahead on the rundown.
It was a wonderful win. So, well done to Freo, well done to Ross Lyon, and they just keep getting the job done, Hutch.
They do indeed, don't they?
They do. Look, we might go to that game and have a look at what happened with Patrick Dangerfield having a shot at goal late in it. Now, we know that the Dockers won this game. Adelaide not happy with what happened in this instance.
28,000 on the edge of their seats.
But the goal umpire gives it 4 points, Dana.
Just listen to this conversation, though, Croft, with the umpires.
Sorry, when the ball went through, I heard it hit the post. You heard it hit the post. So you're saying it hit the post. So, Steve, you obviously think it didn't hit the post. We have to go up, but we have to come up with a decision here, okay? Because he's 100% sure, we're going to go up, and if it comes back, we'll go inconclusive, we'll say it hit the post.
They'll have to get lawyers out there shortly. The goal umpire said it's a goal. Let's go to the...
So what they've done there, they've gone up and the goal that was awarded has been overturned. To me, it's not conclusive. It appears to have maybe glanced it and moved in, but to me, it's not conclusive, Bill. So the goal umpire had his decision overruled by the boundary umpire effectively.
The boundary umpire said he heard it, which is unbelievable because the goal umpire is standing right under it. A very important stage of the game also, wasn't
Surely
it?
the goal umpire should be the one that gets to make the call there.
I would have thought so. And this is almost case number one for Mark Evans now. The new footy operations boss at the AFL, been there 2 months, knows that this issue has to be looked at in a way that it hasn't been to this point. It's just one of many issues he's going to change by the end of the year. But here's what he said during the week in an interview we did for the Sunday Footy Show, which will air in an extended form soon on this program. But this is Mark Evans on the goal umpiring technology.
For the remainder of this year, the system won't change. What we are committed to across the rest of this year is to trial as many different combinations of technology or human resources or whatever it is to try and get the system to be better. It's not a perfect system by any stretch of the imagination.
So it's well and truly on the radar from the new boss. That exclusive interview later on in the program. The Pies are back in form, boys, but the Rat Pack continue to fascinate us. There's no doubt about it.
Well, we saw Dane Swan speak after the game. Just let's have a look at this, his interview after the game, and I want to touch on the power struggle going on at Collingwood.
Had a little bit of effect against Freo, I think, and we'll just lack a goal scorer, so something different. We tried it, worked one week, didn't work the other, so it's good to be back in the middle, mate, doing what hopefully I think I do best, so hopefully I can stay there from now on.
Lordy, what are you reading to that? Is there stuff to be reading to that? Is that a Nathan Buckley, Dane Swan issue again?
I think it was subtle there from Swanee, but he's telling Nathan Buckley, I should be in the middle. Nathan Buckley's telling him that you didn't defend well enough in the middle, so I'll send you forward. We've got Heath Shaw, who got dropped for disciplinary reasons. We've got Didak, who the boys were trying to get the footy to as much as they possibly could late in the game. That's good for his confidence, but also because he's a friend of theirs. I reckon there's a struggle going on between that group of friends and Nathan Buckley. I think Buckley is winning the battle. I thought Shaw played the most disciplined game I've seen him play.
A struggle just not embracing what he's asking them to do. Is that what you're referring to?
Maybe Mick Malthouse gave them more leniency in that regard than Nathan Buckley does.
How does it play out in the long run?
In the long run?
I mean, let's go forward to September. They're playing finals. We know they've had these issues. They're still winning. They're in the 8. Nathan Buckley, you say, is winning the power struggle at the moment. If there is a power struggle, there might be, but how does it play out?
Well, I reckon they've got a soft run at the moment, so we don't really find out until they next play a strong side, because I think you can get away with a bit at the moment. So I think we won't know just yet, but I think the coach is doing what he needs to do for the long-term future of this club.
Do you think they went out? Sorry, Croft. Do you think they went out of their way to get Didak in the game at the behest of the team? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I listened to Nathan Buckley after the game, and he said it in a flippant way, but they said, Didak, you'd be happy with his game? And he said, yeah, the boys got him a few touches towards the end of the game. So that, to him, he was saying that was the case. But I saw Didak working as hard as he possibly could to try and make a career for himself, because it's obviously at the crossroads at the moment.
Footy's hard enough to get the ball, and to go outside and try and find a certain teammate, I don't think it's doable. Well, sometimes it might be when you're belting aside, but it's hard enough to get the ball to start with, let alone try and find somebody you want to give it to and pick them out.
The most disciplined side in the finals will win the finals. And I think Nathan Buckley has every right to play players where he thinks they fit best for the side. But I tell you what, the Dogs, they were disciplined yesterday. They had a really good win against Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide played really well in the first half, but the Dogs showed a lot of spirit, a lot of fight, and it was a terrific win.
They get ahead of themselves, Port Adelaide, after 5 wins?
Well, not really. They just didn't have the running power like we've seen in the first 5 rounds. They've lost 5 in a row now, which is disappointing. And Daniel G in Syracuse, the super sub bill, Tommy Williams goes off with a dislocated shoulder. He comes on, he kicks a couple of goals, but he was so important to their setup. As soon as he come on, he was directing the forward line. Very much a leader down there, and a wonderful game from him, and he was the difference.
You're good mates with Daniel G in Syracuse, aren't you?
I don't know why you keep raising this. We actually are pretty okay.
Damo, Melbourne, it's Flashpoint tomorrow. Board meets at noon. Mark Neal to present at 2. There's universal acceptance that this is his last day as a senior coach.
Maybe not universal acceptance, Hutchie, but I'm with you on this one. I think it is his last day as coach after this Hawthorn game today. The board and the key people around that board have made their minds up that he's not going to be there in 2014. This board meeting now tomorrow night is so big in terms of Peter Jackson, the interim CEO, Bill, having his first crack at this board. He's going to put everything on the table.
Coach, Damo?
I think it's going to be Neil Craig, and that's not the ideal situation either. Todd Viney is too conflicted with his son being part of the team as well.
So you're saying that Mark Neal gets sacked tomorrow?
I think he'll get sacked tomorrow, Bill. He's not going to be there in 2014.
It's a big call, Damien.
He now realises he's not going to be there in 2014, Bill. They may as well make this change now. They've made their minds up that he's not going to be there. So
the assistants is Neil Craig, Brian Royal, Jade Rawlings. Jade Rawlings has been a caretaker before, and Lee Brown.
Yep. I think Neil Craig will be the one just to take it through until the end of the year.
Go, Damo. He's been a bit out of touch with the game in terms of its way it's played. And I thought Jay would have been a better, more viable option if they.
I think Jay was a terrific option when he took over Richmond. He instilled some real confidence in the boys, and look, I can only go on previous experience, but I'd say Jade Rawlings.
And in the big picture too, Hutchie, on Neil Craig, he's under as much pressure as Mark Neal. He has to answer some questions of the board in order for him to stay on as well.
Maybe a new head of footy tomorrow could be a real watershed day. For the Melbourne Footy Club.
All at Melbourne. They have big calls, boys.
And Peter Jackson, I think, whether it be tomorrow or soon, will accept the role permanently, not just the 6-month tenure he's currently got.
So he should. Well done, Damo. Hey, what caught your eye this week? A very popular segment. Wayne?
Another coach under pressure, Michael Voss. He got up to leave the box,
He had enough.
And he said, right, I'm out of here. I've had enough. It's a disgrace. But John O'Brien, look at this. He wanders in. He said, I'll have a go. What do I have to do? Just tell the players where to run. I might have a drink, see if I can get the lid off. Hang on, I'm going to have a little bit of difficulty here.
A bit hard.
So it makes it a little tough for him, Bill.
It's easy. Just rip that thing off, Brownie.
So anyway, John O'Brien caught my eye.
And another angry coach, Croft, Rossi Lyon. Rossi, just go bang. You never hold back with anything. He's just going tap, 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 hoping it'll break, but he just needed to go bang. Just like he has many careers over time.
Last night, the two captains came together before the toss of the coin. Have a look at this. Awkward. Hug or just shake? Look at this. Do we hug each other or shake? And
They did neither, Bill.
it's kind of a shove.
Do they get
Dancing
on,
with
do
your
they?
sister.
Hey, get on.
Okay.
Now, this is called keeping your eye on the ball. This is smothering the ball with everything you had in the goal square. Young lad, as we see, we roll the tape at some stage.
Oh, Brucey.
And the ball just comes out, off the ground. Mazungo tried to kick it, and just this would hurt in the rain too.
Oh, that's a falcon.
That's nasty.
Oh, and I tell you, this man here, Billy Brownless, we've got to applaud you, Bill. Thursday night, you had a crack at eating the hottest pie in the world. There you are.
Look at it.
Churning through, and I tell you what, you didn't look good after it. It is hot.
Bloody hot.
Yes.
And I don't like hot food, but
How's
unfortunately, what goes in, Nath, must come out at some stage.
Well, I'm glad you said that because
think
we've
about
got a
it, Bill.
photo of you the very next day,
Oh, no.
and it's not a pretty one. There is Bill. It burns twice, sitting on the toilets. You look uncomfortable there,
What are you
Bill.
saying, son?
Let's move on. Guy McKenna, the Gold Coast coach, joins us next on the Sunday Footy Show. Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Historic night in Geelong last night when the lights came on for the first time. And the Suns were the team that lit it up for three quarters, Bill. It's all square at three-quarter time and a gallant effort before the floodgates opened.
Yeah, tried to spoil the party, they did, and they nearly did. They were very, very good. Well coached last night, but a good win. 9 goals in the last quarter by the Cats. That man Vardy, Jimmy Bartell, was very, very good. Motlop, okay, well tagged. Duncan got some votes there. Here they are, Mitchie Duncan, Bartell, Blixards played on the wing last night. Andrew Mackey was good. Ablett, Prestio's unbelievable form. Good Assumption College boy. Stanley, Big Lynchy plucked a couple. But great on the Sunday Footy Show to have this man in. A premiership player for the West Coast Eagles. Two times, that's right.
Both against you, Bill.
Yeah, I know. And also the Gold Coast Suns. Guy McKenna, welcome, mate.
Thanks, Billy.
A really, really good effort, I would thought. You would have said to your players after the game last night?
Yeah, three-quarter time, the address was, we just have to play harder and smarter footy for longer. We did that to three-quarter time and, probably let ourselves down in the last quarter. And I don't think the 52-point result certainly resembled the total match.
Not at all.
You have to be pumped with the development of the players. I watched last night closely. A lot of your players now are able to walk through traffic with the ball, step through, get it out the other side. Last year, the year before, they were getting stripped of the ball, turned over, goals against them. But guys like Hall, Prestia, Ablett's done it for a long time, but able to absorb pressure in the pack and get it out to a running teammate.
Yeah, we clearly understand what Gaz can do. Campbell Brown, our senior players, we understand what they can deliver on and sort of absorbing that pressure and then seeing their space, their gaps and go through them. And certainly, over the course of 2 seasons, we haven't seen a lot of that. But, another pre-season under their belt, a year older. Again, I've spoken about the Year 10s playing the Year 12s. You go to watch a school game, you see the difference. Yeah. But when the Year 11s play the Year 12s, well, maybe not so much, and that's what we're seeing this year. And again, our design was, I sound like a broken record, was to play 3 quarters of decent senior football, and I think the boys are delivering on that. But certainly some of those younger players coming through, absorbing that pressure and going through the other side.
Well, a really good month after a rocky patch there, rounds 2 through 5, where the Fremantle game seemed to be around rock bottom. 2.5 years in, do you think this team is exactly where you thought it would be?
Oh, I would have thought so, yeah. Clearly we knew how tough the first couple of seasons were going. The average ages, the average games. We knew this year was going to be a step forward. It's clearly delivering on that. And again, we're excited for the second half of the season. And obviously, we've got to play out this season. But next year, again, you look at the average games, you look at the average ages. All of a sudden now we're competing with all the other sides.
The club launched 21-3 at the start of the year. 20,000 members, 1 premiership within 3 years by the end of 2015. Do you think that's realistic? Can you win a flag within 2 years?
Well, again, the speed of the development, and again, I've spoke about it earlier, about what has been our great disadvantage with our youth, our lack of experience, our ability to absorb pressure. Well, once saw the Jago Meras and David Swallows and these type of players step up to Gary's level and the level he's setting, it's going to become more realistic. Whether that's 2 years, whether it's 3 years, but it's going to happen sooner rather than later.
Well, like the club's pointed, that's club policy. Like the chairman down and said, our aim is 2015. That is a tall order from to the outside world that you could win it in 2 years.
Well, probably
do we misread you or?
No. Well, I would say when it's policy, that's our target, that's our goal. I think every business, every club, every player sets targets and sets goals. Not all of them always achieve those, but that's our mantra. That's what we're setting out to achieve, and I think we're on the right path.
So given that, are you going to need to go and raid the competition from another star? Like, are you going to be in the Buddy Franklin sweepstakes at the end of the year?
Like we do at the end of the season, we assess our list, who's developed, who hasn't developed, who's going to go out of the side. We have to obviously make at least 6 changes again at the end of the season, 3 draft picks, another reduction in our list by 2, and Jack Martin has to come on our list. So there's 6 changes straight away. So on top of that, so if we go out and source another superstar, if you like, or there's another person we have to drop off. So, we got to work through that, but we'll do that.
Do you want him though, Buddy?
Oh, well, it's been amazing up north listening to all the diatribe around Buddy Franklin and what sort of form and rock bottom. He's not performing well. I think if you asked every other coach in the AFL, I'm sure they'd all love him in their forward line.
Guy, what about the actual football on the Gold Coast? Do you feel you're making any greater inroads by winning some games of football?
Oh, mate, I love football. I'm a realist. We just need to continue to win. I think we are. We're making very small steps, if you like, Matty. But
what about? I'm talking the fans in terms of their buy-in into the Gold Coast Suns.
I can't fault our fans. I can't fault AFL on the Gold Coast. I know Brownie's mum lives up there, and she stopped giving us free coffees, and we understand. But when we start to win. Yeah. She'll start giving us free coffees again, and I'm sure the fans will come back because the experience has been fantastic for the fans outside the field. We haven't delivered on the field. We understand that. So when we start winning, the experiences they've had in the stadium, around the stadium, in the community, that one person will bring back another 2 of his friends. So I'm confident, certainly the 20,000 members will wipe that fairly quickly. We'll achieve that target real quick.
Just like it was last night. You've got to keep winning, and the Cats have been winning, of course. They all got there to Simmons Stadium. The lights were magical.
Ask him about the lights, Bill.
I'll ask him about that. But Nathan Vardy started on the bench. He come on the alpaca and went bang, and they were away. But a really, really good effort. And as we spoke about before, Campbell Brown was really good. 3 goals again last night. His pressure and his up forward have been really good. Does he get another year?
Well, in present form, Billy, he's going really well.
He is indeed.
But that's a decision he needs to make and we need to make, but in present form, you can't argue about that.
Exactly. 2 of the hardest spots to fill in AFL is centre-half forward and centre-half back, and I believe you have 2 of the great players over the next 10 years, one in Charlie Dixon. Tommy Lynch did a good job last night, but Rory Thompson, every time I see him, his aggression around the footy, his willingness to compete for other teammates as well. He beat Tommy Hawkins last night. See, Tommy kicks a goal here, but he is a 10-year centre-half back All-Australian player.
And a local product too, Brownie. I think that's the other thing to note. He's fantastic, and 25 games centre-half back. We can build a side around him. Tommy Lynch has been super. He's played just over 30 games as well. Centre-half forward, Charlie Dixon's missed a bit, but he'll come into the side, and he's going to be a super player too.
What about the Cats, Bill? Just got the job done. Another 4 points, just doing what they have to.
Well, mate, Campbell Brown kicks that. They're 2 goals in front here, and Bluey would have been very excited in the box. But it was the last, all tied up at 3/4 time, and even the supporters are thinking, crikey, surely not on tonight when the lights are on and the new stand.
Bartel good?
Bartel was sensational, but 9-goal last quarter. They got a run on here and played some good footy. They finally got a bit of freedom because the pressure all night from the Gold Coast Suns was very, very good, and I thought they were really good.
Is that just what it was, Bluey? You think a drop-off in pressure? I didn't see this game, but a drop-off in pressure from your team?
Yeah, the combination of that, and again, I learned a valuable lesson of experience against Crofts Old Mob at Hawthorn, 91 grand final. We'd actually kept a lot of these superstars down, 10 points down at 3/4 time in the grand final, mind you. All of a sudden, Dunstall, Brereton went through the roof. We couldn't contain them, and I think Jimmy Bartel, as you showed in those highlights, he was a clear catalyst for those Geelong boys. Say, hey, this is the first game under lights. We're not letting this one slip, and he stood up, and our pressure fell away, and the combination of that resulted in a 9-goal quarter.
Oh, have a look at this, Bluey.
In saying that, the Gold Coast Suns, I thought, were the better side for 3 quarters. The second quarter, they had 12 inside 50s at 2 at one stage, but only kicked 1 goal 6, so could have put some space in between them and Geelong. There's always big moments in a game, and this big moment happened just before 3/4 time. 5 points in front. Looked like the Gold Coast Suns might have run onto a footy to kick a goal. Could have been 2 goals of difference. Have a look at this. Motlop, this is a massive footy here, and this is a big win for Trent West. He has to win this ball. As we look at the 3 players about to pounce on this footy, this is an open goal. Look at the score, 5 points. If the Gold Coast Suns go in 2 goals up, the confidence is huge. He just gets that tap out to Andrew Mackie here, and then they go end to end. This is a massive moment in the game. If Trent West didn't do that, I still think the Gold Coast Suns are a huge shot in that last quarter. They go end to end. They take a mark from young Burberry at the goal square, and it's all tied up. 3-quarter time. The Cats start to get a momentum shift their way and take over.
Here the votes. Thank you, Nathan. Well done. Jimmy Bartell, outstanding. James Kelly, I loved his work. He was tough and hard. Gazzo, your best player, was he, Bluey?
Yep.
Prestia, probably second. And Josh Hart did some really nice work down back there and stood tall, and I like the way he did it. The month ahead, the Cats have got the Giants. Then they'll have a bye. Brisbane Lions, Fremantle and the Suns. North Melbourne, that's a big game. Essendon, bye, and Adelaide there.
1 of 3 a pass mark there, Bluey, or 2 of 3 of the tough run ahead, do you think?
Yeah, we'd like to think 2 of the 3. Yeah, we understand. We played the first, second best side. We got the third, and probably North, if they finished a bit better in last quarters, clearly they'd be in the top 6 as well. So we've got a great fortnight ahead of us, and we go into the bye then, and Adelaide after that. So a good month ahead of us.
Bill,
how are the lights, Bluey?
Fantastic. A lot brighter than I thought, Billy. Played at Subiaco and the Wacker back home, but I thought the Luxes, I think they call it in the power of the lights, was very good.
Best lights you've ever seen?
It would have been much better if we'd finished on top, of course, but they were okay.
Yes, here's some prizes for you, Bluey. The Aquila shoes, all magnificent. They're nice brown pair or blue pair, aren't they? I'm going colourful. Suede, that's it. St. Goliath clothing pack, $100 voucher there. Man, what a fuss. Oh, you can get the old feathers done. Maybe go blonde or something. It'll be good. The King Crone Tools, the socket set, 61-piecer. Beauty there, ready to golf, $130 voucher there, Bluey. The coolest sports towel in the market, this one. You'll love this one there. Waterside Hotel, $100 voucher there. Food and drinks. And the Home Timber and Hardware, $100 gift voucher. Thanks to Home Timber and Hardware. Go where the tradies go. Bluey, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Thanks, boys.
Guy McKenna, coach of the Gold Coast Suns, kind enough to join us today on the Sunday Footy Show. The Ice Spray injury report is next. Here's Nathan.
A lot of injuries over the weekend with the wet weather. Young Walsh here, just see him, does the hamstring at full stretch there. That looks like a bad one. When you get carried off with a hamstring, maybe he's torn that off the bone, we don't know. So wish him all the best for a young player there, but that one looks pretty bad. The next one's Courtney Dempsey, just gets crashed there by Nick Smith. Ribs, maybe broken ribs. He was spitting up blood throughout the game, went to hospital, he's out now. Brandon Matera last night, he was flying.
How good was he?
He was flying last night. 18 disposals in the first quarter. James Kelly just gets his ankle caught underneath himself there and rolls that and came back on, but couldn't quite get the job done. Came off. He was subbed off in the third quarter. Tom Williams, just unlucky again. Just a shoulder, a dislocated shoulder just from an easy push-off. I'm not quite sure.
Weak shoulder.
He's very injury-prone, and that's unfortunate for that man. He's had so many injuries. Jared Brennan, same sort of thing. Have a look at him. Just a really easy incident there. Dislocated shoulder also. So some major injuries there. Always a few more injuries when it's wet, Bill.
Thank you, Nate. Very good. That some easy dislocated
Plenty of injuries
shoulders
across the competition at the moment, no doubt about it. Ben Reid from the Magpies joins us next on the Sunday Footy Show. With the Sunday Footy Show, time to cast our eye over Collingwood's resurgent victory over the Brisbane Lions on Friday night via the eyes of Ben Reid, who's with us in a second. 49-point win, Lordo, and it was one they needed.
Dominant display in the first quarter, Hutch. 14 goals, 1,600 to 7,951. Our guest, Ben Reid, goes forward, kicks 3. Obviously, Kennedy, 2 goals, 3. Kyle Martin, a great debut with 2. Swanee back to his best with 36. Sidebottom, a brilliant game with 31. And Pendlebury, 28. Simon Black turned the clock back on Friday night. He put in a great display. The Supercoach points, Jack Redden, he's the best young Brisbane player coming through, I think. 149 Supercoach points. Blackie, 115. Zorko Harwood off half-back, Bill, was impressive.
I liked him.
And Seedsman played his best game for Collingwood also Friday night. Jolly dominated. Swan, Sidebottom and Pendlebury. But Bill, Hutch, you mentioned Benny Reid, centre-half back most of the year, most of your career. You're thrown forward in the absence of Travis Cloke. When did Bucks first tell you about that move?
Yeah, he gave me the call in the hotel room about 3 o'clock and just said, look, Trav's not going to come up, so we're going to throw you down forward and see how you go. It was a bit of a change and a bit of fun.
Are you excited when that call comes through? You play back line, you're probably going to come up on some of the best centre-half forwards in the game. All of a sudden, you're centre-half forward.
Yeah, that's it. I suppose it's one of those things where you're not chasing someone around the whole day and you get a bit of freedom to run around and I suppose just try and get on the end of a couple, which luckily enough I did.
Is it true after the game you sent Travis a text message and said, I'm staying at centre-half forward, you're going to centre-half back?
No, that's very false. But no, Trav, I'm pretty sure he'll be back next week and I'll be probably straight back down the back line, I reckon.
Ben, Lordo's mounted the argument today that there's not a rift, but a divide between the Brat Pack, or the Rat Pack at Collingwood, and perhaps the coach Nathan Buckley, who's coaching more in tune with the younger generation, but the lads, I presume you mean Didak and Shaw and those guys, Lordo. Do you think that's fair?
No, I don't think that's true at all. I think Bucks has got a pretty good relationship with those older guys. He spoke to Dids regularly about why he probably wasn't getting a game, and Dids worked on that to his credit. And last night Friday night he came in and played a pretty good game. That I think came in for about a quarter and a half and got about 12 touches, which was good. And Bucks works hard with those guys, and but at the same time he works pretty hard with the young guys as well.
Do you think that the hard line taken on Heath Shaw a round ago was the right one?
Look, he'd have had a bit of a niggle, so that's why he didn't come up. And there might have been other reasons as well, but the main thing was his body wasn't quite right, and so that was why. And the back six that we had that week before against Geelong did the job, so there's probably no reason to change it.
Been really disappointing against the Swans the week before. Your pressure, your effort. Scotty Pendleby wrote a great column on the day of the game on Friday night about what you need to do to improve and beat the best. I thought your intent was there on Friday night against Brisbane, just to make amends for some of your lacklustre efforts this year.
Yeah, Sydney, we probably dropped in all the things you're talking about, the contested footy and the hard running, that sort of thing, but Friday nights, the first half, we were back to our contested footy and our hard running, and we probably dropped off a little bit in the second half, but it was good, I suppose, to get back and play some quality footy.
Still very much an exciting time bringing in all the younger smalls, and it must be great to get out there with them. They're very excited about playing their first couple of games, and that's always a good thing to be a part of that.
Yeah, it is. Joshy Thomas has been good for probably all the games he's come in, and he was pretty stiff not to play against Sydney last week. And
this bloke?
And it's Kyle Martin. He's I think he had about 50 touches last week in the VFL and he kicked 6 goals or something. So he's going really well, and he came in and showed why he deserved a game.
Collingwood had the first 9 clearances in this game. Benny Kennedy set him alight as well. Just could have kicked probably 5 or 6 on the night, but I think it was dominated by Darren Jolly in the ruck early in the game. He just monstered young Billy Longer of the Lions.
Yeah, he was great, Giles. I suppose with Leuenberger going out, it was a good chance for Giles to get on top and have a pretty good game. So full credit to Giles.
You played forward and you kicked a couple of goals. I just want to show you this one, Josh Kennedy. We've all seen this one, the run up. It's unbelievable. Well, mate, we've got vision of you in your 5th game. There's a bit of a Josh Kennedy there, Ben.
Yeah, there is. I'm not quite sure what happened that day. I completely bucketed up my run-up. So, luckily I didn't pull that one out the other night.
The votes hutch, Dane Swan back to his absolute best on Friday night. Just racked them up at will, set the scene early in the game. I thought Sidebottom's mix between the hard stuff and his skill was the best I've seen it. Darren Jolly, as I said, set the toe in the middle, and Simon Black, 33 disposals. They would have been lost without him.
Seedsman?
No, couldn't fit him in. The month ahead, Brisbane Lions have the bye this week, then Fremantle, Geelong, Hawthorn, a really tough run for Vossi. Collingwood have Melbourne, the Dogs, the bye, Port Adelaide. So you are now in a really good position, Ben, moving forward.
Yeah, we are. Hopefully we can build on the other night's win, and we haven't really won back-to-back games this year except for the first 2 rounds. We've been up and down, so it's something we've got to concentrate on this week and get up and play some good footy.
Ben, thanks for coming in. You get all the prize, of course. We appreciate you being here today.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Ben Reid from the Magpies. His brother's team, aside from the injury of Sam, has fared better. The Swans are on the surge at the moment, Lordo, and you think they can win it?
I do. I think they were so impressive. Adam Goods didn't start the game very well. He's kicked 4. Malcheski is in career best form, kicked 2. Kieran Jack kicked a goal as well in a great game. But Josh Kennedy, 37. McVeigh, 34. Malcheski, 28. Brent Stanton and Hibbard were the 2 best for the Essendon Football Club with 36 and 30 possessions respectively. The forward line just didn't function for Essendon. Just the 10 goals on the night. And the Sydney Swans, Mumford, he won the ruck. Kennedy, Jack, Melcheski, McVeigh, just a hardened midfield, which we touched on. And just not enough contributors for Essendon, and they were really well beaten on the night. Here's some of the stoppage work that I want to touch on the big screen shortly, but that was the first goal where Big Mumford kicked the goal. Brent Stanton, they just couldn't find. They only kicked the one goal in the first quarter, Croft. It was a long kick. Melsham gets it over the back, but you could just see that they were trying to hang in there, but I thought Sydney were far cleaner by hand and by foot most of the night. Jared McVeigh was the architect off the half-back flank.
Just a very professional side, aren't they, Lauder? They just get the job done every week. And Mumford and Pike, those two guys are really good for each other because they're really competing, Bill, to stay in there and keep their spot. They can push forward. Pike's taken the most contested marks in the AFL, which is a wonderful story from where he's come from. And the Swans, what a super side. They are quite amazing, and they're just going to get better as the season goes on, Lordo.
They made a bit of a charge, Croft, for Essendon in the second quarter, and every time they got within 6 points, as they are here, Sydney would answer with a goal through the midfield because they were just too dominant in there. Adam Goods, we'll touch on him in a minute. The too much licence that they gave him, Brownie.
They had 5 more inside 50s of Bombers, 61 to 56. They looked a bit impotent going inside forward 50 without Michael Hurley. Now, Joe Danaher, where is he? Why didn't he play? Because they subbed out Gumbleton. I would have thought it would have been the perfect opportunity to play this young man up on a small ground.
Yeah, well, Gumbleton's dominating, so they felt that he was just in front of Joey Danaher. They threw Carlisle forward in the last quarter, and Carlisle looked the most dangerous forward. So they've got a big dilemma on their hands. Carlton on Friday night, do they start their best defender forward and throw Hurley back, or do they bring Joey Danaher in? Because they've lost 3 of their last 4 now and have fallen in a bit of a hole.
John Longmire sent Jared McVeigh to Zaharakis. Zaharakis has pretty much had a free run the last couple of weeks, but Jared McVeigh just superior work rate, worked him over backwards and forwards.
No doubt, Brenny. He played through Zaharakis, and Ryan O'Keefe did a ripper job on Joe Watson. Hocking beat Hanbury, so that was 1+ on the night. But I just want to show you the stoppage work. It was 8 goals to the Swans and just 2 to Essendon on the night. Look at the leniency that Essendon and James Hird gave Adam Goods. Let's go to the first stoppage. He doesn't win this one, Adam Goods, but look at this. O'Keefe and Adam Goods just all by themselves. David Myers was on Adam Goods, and you've got Carlisle here. Look at the time and the space. It doesn't happen here for those guys, but first of all, too much time, space. Shane Mumford kicks the goal. So as the quarter goes on, you'll just see the game goes on. Look at this. Ryan O'Keefe, Jake Melsham's his opponent. He's got to be arm across or in an aggressive mindset to stop the run. He just gets caught ball watching. Ryan O'Keefe, all the time in the world just to dance around, kick that goal. It was just happening time and time again. The next one is Adam Goods. We spoke about look at this. Where is his opponent? They've just got caught in, Sydney Swans just set up really well. Adam Goods just gets a clear path through, kicks that goal. So it was just happening. Whenever Essendon would get back in the game, they'd just allow easy run, easy spread. Where's Myers' pressure here around the ball? Adam Goods, too good a player to allow that to happen. And I just found the professional outfit of the Sydney Swans just was a total, it's just too dominant for Essendon Football Club through that midfield. So Hird will learn a lot from that. I want to show you an edit from last week of the Sydney Swans-Collingwood game where it's become a tactic of the Sydney Swans where, look at this, they clear one half of the ground just for Lewis Jetta the whole time. No one can go with him by foot. He kicks the goal. It was unbelievable play, and I thought that just might have just happened as a bit of a fluke for the Sydney Swans. Yet, I was at the SCG last night. Look at this. They open a wing for him, and there was no Essendon player within cooey of him. They all get caught over the other side of the ground. Just kick it into space for Lewis Jetta. He runs onto it, doesn't get the goal himself, taps it out. Ben McGlynn kicks the goal. Hey, Hutch, I spoke about John Longmire. He coached beautifully last night, and that's why I think they are the premiership favourites right now.
So you think that's a set play and move them all to one side of the ground, leave the back end open?
They do. The fat side open with the fastest man in the game.
Very good analysis, Matthew.
Very good with 9 votes. Josh Kennedy 8, Kieran Jack 8, and Ryan O'Keefe beat Watson, give him 7 votes.
It's award-winning sort of stuff from Lordo as we have a look at the month ahead for the Bombers.
And the Sydney Swans have the Adelaide Crows are by Port and Carlton. They are flying. Massive game. It is a statement time for both clubs, Essendon and Carlton. Then they've got the Gold Coast, the bye, and the West Coast League. It was a fairly tough run.
All right, fascinating. Been a fascinating show. There's plenty more to come. More on Mark Evans. Stick around for that. More on Mark Neild. And the man who wanted to trade Matthew Lloyd, Kevin Sheedy, is live here next on the Sunday Footy Show.
Awkward.
you with the Sunday Footy Show. Tough times for the GWS Giants at the moment as they build their footy club. And Brownie, it was a disappointing day at the office again yesterday.
Yeah, it was. They started the game really well, though, Hutch. They led clearances, they led tackles, and it was a really good output. Callum Ward, 33 touches. Toby Green keeps getting better and better. Had a great year last year. Just starting to hit his straps, 28 disposals. Walker was damaging off the half-back flank. Mitch Robinson through the middle. Jeff Garlett and Chrissy Yarran, they were really dangerous around the half-forward line. They had a lot of quick players, and also Dennis Armfield was terrific in that area also. But a big win to the Blues. Andrew Walker at 150, Cruz at 120, White 121, and Callum Ward led all comers for the Greater Western Sydney 128, Treloar 100, and Caniglio gets better and better every week. But it's my honour to welcome one of the greatest coaches of all time in the AFL history, Mr. Kevin Sheedy. And Sheeds, it's a work in progress, but is there light at the end of the tunnel?
Oh, I think there will be. There's no doubt about that. I think that, look, these players, they get out there and they win the ball. Don't always use it correctly. At times they can be a little bit more composed, I think, in games where we're coughing up at obviously the skill of the opposition burners. And that's the difficult part because in the end, you've got to keep the confidence up.
So how many houses around Sydney have we set aside for Buddy Franklin so far?
Oh, so you're the one today. You're just going to,
Look,
throw
does
rocks.
he caught you on the hop there, Sheeds, with that question?
No.
Can we clarify that, Kevin? You do want him, yes?
Well, I think that you'd be mad if you didn't. But to be quite honest, we'll sit down and we'll look at the 15 to 20 players that are off contract or in that area of negotiation. And I think that Sauce and Gubby and David Matthews, they'll sit down with a group of people and Leon and myself, and we'll work through it.
I ask this respectfully. Are you good enough to get him? Are you good enough to sell the vision to bring him to Sydney?
Well, I think what happens is people don't know how good Sydney is unless you actually go to the Swans, but we're actually going to build a club as good as the Swans. And when you've got... we're probably going to get early draft picks again. Factual. We've got 5 or probably 6 first-round picks out of the team injured now. So that would be pretty handy players for us.
Are you getting any pressure at all from the AFL in regards to the way you've performed this year, in regards to next year wanting to see a greater effort, for in terms of the product that you're producing?
We would probably be exactly where Gold Coast were last year. We would like to be playing better. Gold Coast would have been like to be playing better. But all of a sudden now you're seeing what happens when they get to near 50 games.
Are you worried about the crowds?
Well, I don't count them.
But there's some saying there's only 6,000 there, and some are saying there's not even 6,000 there, Sheets.
No. Well, that's a factual part of Sydney's sporting scene. That's exactly what happened with the Swans. I mean, when we played the other day and there was 6,000 there was 7,500 at Penrith, and they were playing Melbourne Storm. It was a Mother's Day. It was a 1 o'clock game on Mother's Day. Whoever put us on that time slot needs to be looked at. As simple as that.
Last one on Buddy. The reality is that he'll make his decision in the next 4 to 6 weeks as to what he's going to do.
Fair enough.
If he's sitting home today watching this before he goes to the footy, what would you say to him as to why he should come and play at GWS?
Well, because I think in the end, in the next 50 to 80 games, which he should be peaking in, he's at his best right now, but we've got actually a very talented side there for anybody who wants to come. And, we had 3-4 players of senior experience. You got, there wouldn't have been a 100-game player out there last. Callum Ward's 90, Palmer 60, 75. You've got Scully 60. If you leave Satanta out of it, we're average was 20 games yesterday. 20 games average. So I think that the next dozen games they'll get up to somewhere near 40 to 30. We'll recruit probably 4 players, I'd say, at the end of the year. And whoever they are, they're going to end up with a damn good side around them. Now, you can float around in Melbourne in some of the clubs and go nowhere. Because some of those clubs are going nowhere.
Which ones?
You know.
Finley.
Finley, you know.
One of them's Melbourne, Sheeds.
Yeah, they
get it horribly wrong.
Oh, look, I think Peter Jackson will do the right thing here and looking at... In summation, you would look and say, well, look, this is where Melbourne need to go. I think he's the right experienced person to look at a club. He's an experienced campaigner in regard to being around for a decade and a half. I think that whether they get it wrong or right, or the whole club, first of all, You know, they got investigated for tanking. Then, you know, there are some problems in their sports science area, apparently. All of that should never be on the table.
If they asked
never
you
be
to
on the
go
table
there next year, would you go and help?
Look, I wouldn't have thought they'd ask. I wouldn't have even thought that would.
I'm president of Melbourne, and I'm asking you.
If you were president of Melbourne, there'd be no way knowing of you.
There'd be a bit of heart there.
You asked. That's put himself president.
That's very fun and diversionary. But do you want the Melbourne job?
No, mate. I'm very happy working at Sydney in the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be a fantastic club. You know, we're going to roll out 2 or 3 icon games up there, and one's next week with obviously the Farmers Tribute game. So I think, and you can see what happens with Anzac Day and Dreamtime. So we're going to have 3 of those, and then you'll start finding out that the crowd will be 15,000 and 20,000. If those little pussycats down in Geelong come up for the long weekend and in the sunshine
They will next week.
You think they will?
They will. Well, they like Sydney. They like getting up there. Don't know if they like going out to West Sydney, but they'll like.
Leon.
And you live in Geelong out of Melbourne. You guys are kidding yourselves.
Leon Cameron takes over next year. What is your role going to be? Are you going to stay at the Greater Western Sydney? Or Croft's question going back to that, do you want to come back to Melbourne, where you're from?
My first preference would be to stay in Sydney. If it's negotiated on a pretty amicable negotiation and arrangement, because I think the club's going to be an enormous club. I mean, the work we're working in right now on building our coteries and our corporate structure around the club is enormous.
But you're a coach. You know, I saw yesterday after the game, you got the group in and you had a big word to them. Their first half was okay, they had a crack, and it is a young list. There's no doubt you've got that desire to keep coaching. So I think Melbourne, in some way, there's a fit for you.
Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from about 4 seats up, 3 actually. Yeah.
Get the numbers right.
No,
I didn't got down.
You're talking to them after the game. What did you say to them?
Well, look, we played very good footy until the last 4 minutes of each of those quarters. I mean, the first quarter, they get a goal in the last minute. Then they get another 2 goals, and then another 2. These are the last 2 minutes of each quarter. Yeah. So at the end of the game, they got 7 goals, I think, in the last 2 minutes of each quarter. So in 8 minutes, they got 7 or 8 goals.
Jeez.
It actually brings the scoreline down to somewhere with a bit of a chance.
Yes. You've been challenged a lot as a coach over your time, Sheeds, but is this one of your biggest challenges? How to get these players up, how to find a positive message week after week, loss after loss? It must be hard just to keep finding something to get them to grasp onto from week to week.
Oh, look, I think, they know that. I mean, I never really deeply cut into the criticism of these young men. I mean, they're year probably 13 and 14 out of year 12 high school. Okay, but so my job is actually get the group of coaches to coach the team correctly, and personally myself is to make sure they run out there with confidence to know they've got the talent to play well. And look, really yesterday probably could have been a 9-goal half-time score, but we just let them get these 3 or 4 goals in the last 2 minutes of both those first quarters.
Leaving aside the fact that your preference is to stay at GWS, are you still hungry enough, good enough to coach the modern game in the modern era?
Well, only time would tell, but, you know, that my time's run out. It's as simple as that. You know, you bring on young coaches. Could you coach better than some of the guys that end up getting jobs that don't go on? Probably. Why? Because you're a very experienced campaigner. Simple as that.
We haven't talked about much about your players right now. So, Baby Bombers 93, you had Mercury, Mercedes, Olorenshaw starting in the middle on the wings. Where do they sit with Devon Smith, Toby Green and Lockie Whitfield?
Oh, they're all as good as the Bombers in the 93 era. Yeah, I mean, look, if you said that you ran out in 93 and there was Olorenshaw in one wing, I think he might have been playing maybe his 14th game in the grand final. Joe Mercedes was just finishing a first year panel beating. And then I think Paul Hills from up around Ballarat, he might have played 50 games. Now, really, West Coast were the best team in the AFL that year. But we got through with, throw in Hurd and Mercury and those sort of boys and get Watson back out of retirement. Getting Watson back out of retirement was crucial.
Sheeds, before Brownie does his votes, if you had to put a percentage on the coaching between Cameron and yourself, would it be 50-50 in regards to who does what throughout?
Easily that, because it's a changeover year. Yeah. You cannot be there and dominate the coaching position. You've got to be there and doing the right thing by the club and make sure that this young man coming into a real tough job is going to get the best blending experience. There's no doubt about it. There's no good me standing there and being the head coach and not letting him have any say in it. You've got to let him actually develop and come through, and that's the best part of coaching.
The votes, as I saw them yesterday, the Carlton boys ran right towards the end of the game. Jeffy Garlett's kicked 27 goals this year. Bryce Gibbs was good through the middle. Mitch Robertson, 29. His work in and under the packs, his aggression was great. Andrew Walker off the half-back flank, he was really damaging also. The month ahead, Carlton have got the Essendon, Hawthorn and Sydney, so a massive month for Carlton. Greater Western Sydney have got Geelong, Port Adelaide, the Bye, and then the Kangaroos.
There you go, and thanks, Kevin, for coming in. You get all the prize wish. And of course, the big game, Skoda Stadium, 8th of June, the Farmers game. It's your latest initiative. Well done. It's going to be a beauty, and a great tribute it will be to the farmers of both regions as well. Now, your first coach against Mick Malthouse in 1984, 30 years ago. We're about to throw to his daughter to do the sports update. Would you like to throw for us?
By golly.
Be careful.
I was a baby then.
We'll just say, here's Christy Malthouse for us.
Hey, Christy.
Well
Hi,
done.
Kevin. I remember Kevin from when I was this big.
Christy Malthouse, the AFL, to join us next on the Sunday Footy Show. Bacchus Marsh and Sunbury yesterday. Bacchus Marsh lost. Fev kicked 4. Hawke was the coach. Good fun had by all. Port Adelaide and the Bulldogs last night. Very quickly, boys. Croft. The Dogs have just somehow found a way to win 2 in a row.
Well, they showed a lot of spirit. 10-7, 67, 8-10, 58. Ryan Griffin, we're going to talk about him. He was a star. Liberatore and Goods certainly sweeping up, down, back. Corns, O'Shea and Ebert were certainly the leaders for Port Adelaide from possession-wise. And the Supercoach points, Ryan Griffin, 176. Will Minson, what a season he is having, 133. Liberatore, 129. And Jack Homsch, the young boy from GWS, has gone across to Port Adelaide. I thought he played really well, and he might even figure in the votes. But Port got off to a really good start. They looked a class above early, Bill. And
the Dogs were very ordinary, only 4 goals. That's all they kicked, didn't they, the half-time?
Yeah, that's right. They looked a touch sluggish. Chad Wingard from Port Adelaide's point of view, Angus Momfries and Jack Homsch, I thought they were the better players early and really led the way. There's Wingard kicking a really good goal. But it was Ryan Griffin. He had 13 touches in the first quarter. He had 40 possessions for the game, 20 contested possessions. And here he is kicking a wonderful goal. He's a star, that man. He can get the contested footy. He gets the outside ball. When the team needs someone to lift them across the line, he is doing that. And Will Minson, he dominated through the ruck. 57 hit-outs.
No.
57, he kicked the goal.
All-Australian.
He's got to be right up there. He is in wonderful form. But it was all about Daniel G in Syracuse. He came on as a sub. Tom Williams goes off after dislocating his shoulder. But Gia was just a class above, the way that he was doing things, the way that he led the forward line, and he was just super. Ryan Griffin, 9. Will Minson, 7. Tom Liberatore with 35 touches. And Jack Homsch, he gets 7. I thought his composure down back was really good. The Bulldogs have got the bye, and some of them have gone fishing, and good on them. 2 wins in a row. Collingwood, Richmond and Melbourne and Port Adelaide have got the bye. GWS, the Swans, and then Collingwood, which is going to be massive.
Some sad news regarding the Western Bulldogs with the passing of one of their great supporters. Mavis Hart passed away last week, and she was 101. There she is there. She was a member of the Footscray Western Bulldogs for as long as they can remember down there. The oldest member on record. She was at the 54 premiership. She would have loved that. Our condolences, of course, go to the family.
Absolutely, very sad indeed. The situation at the AFL is the head of football now, Mark Evans, has been in the chair for around 8 weeks. He took over a decade of change by Adrian Anderson, the former head of football operations. During the week, Damien Barrett sat down for his first exclusive interview, Mark Evans, on his vision for the role, and he started with asking him about the current plight of umpiring.
I think there were some confusing statements and plenty of talkback radio where people were saying one thing or another. And you also need to build into there that there were some umpiring errors. There was no change in the instruction to umpires. There was no increase in free kicks in pushing in the marking contest. But we had this public debate that was ranging about what had changed. When we sift it down, and we still want to encourage a show of strength in a marking contest, we still want people to be able to protect where the ball's going to drop. But what we want to avoid is this absolute primary focus of just removing your man away from the contest.
Confusing statements. You made that statement yourself just then. I'm referring to, I'd imagine, Jeff Geeshan's commentary around that particular issue at the time. Did that cloud it unnecessarily, the murkiness around it?
Yeah, it did a little bit, but it was also where that was then taken, particularly talkback radio and people calling in, making, some of them were quite informed statements and some of them weren't, and some of them would say, referring to an umpiring error as opposed to a change in what we were hoping for in umpiring in the first place.
Jeff's going on long service leave pretty soon, is that right?
Yeah, he is, yes.
Yeah. Is that unusual the umpire's boss would take off during the season?
Yeah, as happens when you have long-standing employees, they store up a fair bit of leave, and the company has asked for that to be reduced, so Jeff will take a portion of that this year.
Is he safe in his job, Mark, just given the scrutiny around him in recent times?
Jeff does a terrific job. He is so passionate about umpires and umpiring, and he's committed to improving the system for umpires and umpiring. So I think that's the primary thing that you judge someone on.
I'm hearing that penalties for interchange infringements is being looked at and maybe reduced by way of severity. Is that right?
Again, this has come out of consultations with clubs, and it is one of the most frustrating things for clubs and I think for supporters when there is an interchange infringement. Invariably results in a stop in play. When you focus as a supporter, your focus is somewhere else. You may not even recognise that there's been an infringement, and suddenly the ball is stops, is a free kick and then transferred 50 metres downfield. Sometimes it feels like the penalty for that can outweigh the importance of the infringement in the first place. So I'm happy to have a look at that.
You've come from the footy club background. If you were still there, would you be saying to your players, do not bump under any circumstances?
I think there are some difficulties in the game now where the players' sole intention, they solely elect to bump. They have to understand that there are a lot of ways that bump can go wrong, and they need to be particularly careful in that bumping situation. One, to not give away a free kick. Two, because of the duty of care to the player, that if that bump goes wrong, the chance for serious injury. So that message has been well understood for a number of years, that it is becoming more onerous on that person when they absolutely elect to bump.
The Lindsay Thomas incident in round one, I know you weren't officially part of the competition at that stage. Do you think that has caused a fair bit of confusion with what's happened since?
I think it has, yeah, because we've conditioned the world to believe that when you elect to bump and you cause forceful head contact, that you will be guilty of rough conduct. There are two out clauses to that. One of them is if you didn't have any alternate way of contesting the ball. In Lindsay's case, he could have done other things, so he wasn't let off on that. But the second is that something has happened that was outside of the control of the player. And one of the exceptions that is listed on the DVD for the match review panel and the tribunal and clubs to determine says if there is a head clash, then that will be deemed as accidental and not chargeable. Now, whether that is correct or not correct is absolutely up for debate. And the football world at clubs are 50-50 split on this. But I do think that if we are taking a stronger stance on the management of concussion and assessment of concussion, then we probably also need to review all of those things that can try and prevent concussion in the first place.
Yeah. It confuses so many people, Mark. Will you seek to review the match review panel at the end of the year?
Yeah, it gets reviewed every year anyway. And I have a level of sympathy for a result where something goes just beyond a free kick. So we decide it's just beyond a free kick, and to me that should invariably result in a reprimand towards 1 week. And sometimes when you decide something has crossed the line and becomes reportable, and it spits out something higher than that, you can feel the club and player frustration when that occurs.
And the review, I mean, could it potentially remove the criteria as we know it and the grading systems around the criteria? Or is it more of a tinkering with what we've got?
Yeah, I haven't looked into that with any great detail. It does get confusing, though, when we're adding up base points and we're adding or subtracting points for record, and then we're adding carryover points, and then we're reducing points for an early plea, and it gets confusing at the back end of it all to say, why is this 2 weeks and that one was 1 week and that one was off and that one was 3? So that does become more difficult to explain to people unless they're prepared to invest their time into understanding the points allocated.
Well done there by Damien and well done by Mark Evans. Lordo, the decision to let Jeff Geeshan have long service leave during the season. Do you agree with it?
Probably not, because he has such a big role to play. But I think that week that Jeff had with the hands in the back and not explaining things like he should have may not all go too well for Jeff Geeshan moving forward next year.
OK, more on that on Footy Classified. The Sunday serve now, and Nathan Brown has the obligation this week.
Only 12 players have played 350 games in AFL history. Brent Harvey joins that elite company today. It got me thinking as to what a champion he is, yet he's not spoken about like Buckley, Voss, Hurd, Judd or Swan as some of the most influential people in the game in modern history. Premiership player, second in the Brownlow, captain, 5-time Sid Barker medalist, 4-time All-Australian and an EJ Whitten medalist. Those credentials, along with 350 games and throwing 410 goals, has Brent Harvey, in my opinion, stand on the same stage as some of the greats of our game.
Well spoken. Brownie, anyone disagree with that?
I wouldn't have him in the Voss, Hurd, Buckley category.
Why? Because he doesn't play for a big club like Essendon or Collingwood, he plays for the Kangaroos?
Nothing to do with it. I think that he'll be regarded for his run, his carry, his skill, his goal kicking, but I think they influence games in a different way to Brent Harvey.
Doesn't influence games?
He does influence.
He doesn't break games open?
He does in that way, but I think the way they turn games, I think, was far greater than Brent Harvey
because they're bigger and he's a small man?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a powerful nature that they did in is why I put them on a different level.
So you'd have Shane Crawford in the same situation as Brent Harvey then because he's a small guy?
Man, that's right, yes.
Not because he's small.
Playing for North Melbourne's a good point too, I reckon.
Yeah. If he played for Collingwood, we'd be talking about him in
go on
amazing.
all day. Best of luck to Boomer this afternoon in game 350. Some big team selection news. Stick around for that next. This is the Sunday Footy Show.
Collingwood win by 76 points, so that's a great mark of the team. He's played 56 out of the last 58 for Brisbane, so he's a regular cohesive guy's good mark. That's the big men should be able to do. He just puts it in the hot spot again. Well, here's a kick. It's certainly a hard one for Geelong. But somehow it's now out of defence. This is Geelong's opportunity to go forward.
Some great contenders for the Life Broker AFL Marker of the Week this week. Get online and vote for your chance to win a couple $100 thanks to Life Broker. Adelaide and Fremantle is the next game to have a look at. Boys and Croft, the Fremantle Dockers continue to find a way to get it done.
Well, they certainly did. Adelaide were OK early. Dangerfield kicked 3, Port Pleasure kicks 1. Rory Sloane, he had 30 touches. Scotty Thompson was pretty good. But Freo, what a side they're turning into. Michael Barlow, 141 Supercoach points. Zach Clark was very good, but it's Paddy Dangerfield got them going early, Bill.
Yeah, really good early. It was a wet game.
It was a very wet game, yeah, that's right. You're looking at the screen now. But Fremantle really fought back in the second quarter, showed a lot of fights. It was a real arm wrestle. In this last quarter, Adelaide hit the front. They had a bit of momentum.
At home.
But Fremantle, as Ross Lyon's side do, they just get their hands around your throat and they just choke you. They don't allow you to get your game going. And once
Can they
again,
win it this year, Croft?
well, they're just getting the job done without their real key players.
Yes or no?
No Pavlich, no Walters,
Sandilands.
no Sandilands, no someone else, Griffin.
Yep.
So they're just getting the job done, whereas a lot of sides drop away when they're without personnel.
Votes.
Fremantle can certainly be there at the end of the year. We're going to go into my votes very, very shortly, Bill, but there you go. 2 in a row in that last quarter. That was the margin that they won. Barlow 7, Rory Sloane, Paddy Dangerfield and Stephen Hill all played very well in a very wet game, as you said, Bill.
It was.
And
Slippery.
Adelaide have got the Swans, Richmond by Gold Coast, and Fremantle have got the bye Brisbane Lions, North Melbourne, and then Billy's boys, Geelong.
Oh, the Lou Richards medal, look at that. Yeah, Jack, Canterbury, Watson, Stevie J, all the midfielders. Don't know why the big forwards aren't up there. They're the ones that win the games.
And they're all in the running for the prize thanks to Carry Boy of the Lou Richards medal. Time now for the Life Broker Sunday Agenda. Experts in life insurance, here's Damo.
Thanks, Hutchie. Big doubts on St Kilda captain Nick Riewoldt taking his place in the Saints lineup against North Melbourne today. This is the incident last week, guys, that has caused him dramas all week. He's barely trained. He got hit by Liam Picken accidentally, but has been really struggling all week with it, has barely trained, expected to miss the game. GWS coach Kevin Sheedy earlier on the Sunday Footy Show confirmed his club's interests in Buddy Franklin.
My first preference would be to stay in Sydney if it's negotiated on a pretty amicable negotiation and arrangement, because I think the club's going to be an enormous club.
That was Kevin there talking about his own future. He wants to stay in Sydney, but he's open to coaching offers should they come by way of Melbourne possibly. Courtney Dempsey, guys, will be driven back to Melbourne today. Has escaped most serious damage out of his impact last night against Sydney.
Thanks, Damo, and that's big news, Nick Riewoldt being out today. Yeah. 3 remaining games through the lens of sportsbet.com.au. By the way, they've got a great promotion on. Have a listen to this. Watch Collingwood Melbourne on Queen's birthday from inside the coach's box, airfares and accommodation. You can visit sportsbet.com.au.
If you put 1,000 on the Hawks, what do you get back?
Coach's box. Hawthorn, mad favourites, boys.
Yeah, they are, and no doubt about that, they'll win. North
Saints
Melbourne.
blow now on the back of that Nick Riewoldt news.
Get on the Kangas if you can.
Big game for the Tigers tomorrow night. They have to win this. It's Monday Night Football.
Massive game if they want to play finals.
And they're big outsiders at $3.55, the Tigers. Good value, surely.
Play Fremantle, the ground over there very well.
So that wonderful competition, sportsbet.com.au/coaches box. There it is. You can be, including airfares and accommodation, in the box on the Queen's birthday weekend. A break, but loose handballs still to come. They're getting ready and warming up. It's going to be a beauty next, right here on the Sunday Footy Show.
Come on, Wayne. The player crowned champion on loose handball for season 2013 will receive $10,000 cash, with $5,000 going to the runner-up thanks to our great mates at Carryboy. And each week the top handballer will take home $500 cash and the runner-up pocketing a tidy $250. That's over $35,000 worth of prizes courtesy of the Sunday Footy Show and Carryboy. Carryboy, Australia's leading canopy and 4x4 accessories company. For more details and to check out their product range, visit carryboy.com.au.
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Time for loose handball, thanks to Carryboy and Bill.
Yes.
It's been a massive show, but we've got a couple of young guns on the handball.
We have indeed. We've got Dylan Buckley from Carlton and Adam Kennedy from the Giants. Hey, Dill, how are you, mate?
Good, Billy, how are you?
Now, you're in that great club. First kick, first goal, aren't you? That magnificent goal against the Cats.
I'm in it too, Bill.
Oh, Lordy's in it too.
Shut up, Lordy.
Sorry, Danny.
Now, run us through that goal. Run us through that. It was magnificent.
Just sort of came on as a sub and saw the ball come over the back and just sort of grabbed onto it and a bit of a fluke just on the left and went through.
Oh, you're saying how good it was and you do it all the time. Hey, well done, mate. How's the old man too? I know you get asked all the time, but Jimmy, of course, we played against him and loved Jimmy. You going all right?
Nah, Jimmy's tracking good.
Is he?
Oh, well, yeah.
How's your mum? Does she like footy?
Nah, she loves it. She just doesn't like me watching me play.
A little boy might get injured.
Yeah, she thinks it.
Hey, Adam, how are you, champ?
Yeah, good, thanks.
You're a Melton boy up at West Sydney now. How's that going?
Yeah, good. Bit of a change from Melton up to Sydney, but yeah, it's all going well.
Who do you live with?
I live with Dill Shield and his girlfriend.
Oh, that's good. You found one yourself up there yet?
Nah, not yet. Still looking, so...
Be a couple in Melton, you would have broken hearts.
No, not too many.
Righto, Adam, you're away first. 5 on the right, 5 on the left. Good luck, boys. Get it spinning. Come on. Come on, Shane, you silly man. Righto, Adam. Mr. Melton. 7. 14. 7. 21. 28. $500. Yeah. 38. That'll do you.
Beautiful.
$500 thanks to Carryboy. $250 for the run.
Bill.
Come on, Bucks.
It's hot.
7. 14. Nice hands.
7.
21.
7.
28.
Should be a hand model.
So should you.
Bit of Costanza.
35, 38. 35, 38. Yes, Nate. Here we go.
Who's winning, Bill?
Well, I don't know. There, it says it there.
7. Could be their first win of the year, Bill.
7. 45.
7.
Ooh. 52. Good work, Lordo. 59.
5.
Oh, 64.
7.
Oh,
nice.
Bit dodgy on the left there. 71. Righto. Buck.
7.
Oh, 42.
Catch, Brand.
7. 49. 7. 40. 56. 7. Hang on. 63. A 7 will only do nothing for you. You're going to get a bullseye, Bucks.
Bullseye.
Oh, Adam Kennedy. They've had a win. Let's sing the song. How's the joint song go? How does it, you know?
Yeah, I do know.
He doesn't know it. Hey, well done, boys. Thank you very much. $500 to the winner, $250 to the runner-up. All thanks to Carry Boy.
Well done, boys.
Very good, Carry Boy.
Coming up next, TAC Cup future stars, Lockie Henderson, a #1 draft pick, Lockie Whitfield. Then a big week on the 9-week. Classified tomorrow night, 10:30. Footy show Thursday at 8:30. Big Jonathan Brown's on the panel. TAC Cup up next. Have a great weekend.